This episode holds sacred but emotionally heavy themes. For that reason, we've chosen to split this conversation into two parts to give you space to pause, process, and return when you're ready. Please listen with care and pause whenever your spirit needs rest.
Deliver me, 'cause all I seem to do is hurt me. Hurt me.
No human being can fathom what God has prepared for those who love Him. Seen, heard, imagined.
A lot of what you said resonated. You and I have had the opposite issue though.
Mhm.
It wasn't this deep need to be big or be very expressive,
Mhm.
but it was just to express, right? I think so. I feel like we had
Mhm.
the opposite issue. I grew up in an environment where, in essence, I was just taught or trained to not use my voice to express a lot of emotion or a need. That's just the environment I grew up in. And so
Oh,
I stifled
yeah.
expressing need or desire or opinion a lot of time. There were people in my life that just had bigger personalities, and so those personalities won out. And so therefore I had to make myself small to
Mm.
allow for the others to be big and to shine.
Yeah.
So I don't know how big, was or would be as a child, but I did have the same issue for sure. It is this stifling and stuffing away a lot of opinion and a lot of expression to
Yeah.
conform and to appease. And once you get into the professional world,
Mhm.
and being an African American woman in technology at that, there,
Oh,
unlike where I work now, lots of diversity, just
yes.
huge amounts of diversity. But growing up, and then you get into the early 2000s, you
Mhm.
didn't see a lot of African American females in the
Yeah.
tech industry. So
Mhm.
you add those kind of like societal and ethnic pressures to
Right.
being a black woman around a predominantly Caucasian male environment.
Yes.
So I even more want to be careful as to how I express myself, or if I
Mhm.
even do, frankly.
Yeah.
And then to your point, once I did start my journey with voiceover, very easy to do corporate reads, very
Mhm.
easy to do e-learning, very, very easy to narrate something.
Yeah.
You're wanting me to, because that is not a performance to me. That is
Right.
my
Yeah.
default.
It's
That's my
natural. Yeah.
default, is to be
Yeah.
the polished professional. That's a default. But
Mhm.
now, and especially as of late, there's these opportunities to do animated roles. I would love
Yes.
to like land a video game one day, and a
Mhm.
character in a video game, where I believe true acting chops are required in voiceover. In my
Mhm.
opinion, it happens to be in the genres of dubbing, animation, and video game. In my
Mhm.
opinion, that's where acting chops are really, really, really necessary.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, in getting training for that, it was hard to turn off that switch you described.
Mhm. Mhm.
Action, or at the top, or take three. There's something. There's a switch in my head that says, "Okay, conform.
Yeah.
Okay, stifle.
Yeah.
Okay." It's the craziest thing, but I think a lot of that stuff is very, very deep seated. It comes from
Yes.
not knowing yourself. It comes from not being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And I love what you said when you went to the gospel concert. That seed was planted in you.
Mm.
You need
Yeah.
to do something with your voice. You already were. For you, you were already doing something with it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not
And
that you weren't utilizing it, but
yeah, yeah. I think that it's just one of those things that I remember my mom telling me some years ago. She said, I'm, she was saying that she told God that she was, just going to be obedient, not to question. It's like if God says move, don't question it. You just move. How sometimes God, you feel like God is like, God, is that really you? I mean,
mm-hmm.
God, if I mean, if it is, I mean, would can you do, like trying to negotiate with God on what it may be or what it really is, and And it's like, just move. Now, mind you, this is someone that always felt uncomfortable with my voice. Um, Never liked my voice. And to actually run out like that is just, when I think about it, it's insane. Actually, it's like, wait a minute, you never liked your voice, and all of a sudden, John P. Key said you need to do something with your voice, and you run out and do a
You about to
demo.
quit your whole job, quit your whole 9 to 5. That's fascinating, isn't it?
It is, but
But it felt very necessary at the time, didn't it?
it, it um yeah, it was it was during a time that I was having a I was on the cusp of having another mental breakdown,
Mm.
um like to the point that I was literally crying at work every day. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And that gave me life. Like voiceover, and again,
Mm.
at the time it wasn't even a voiceover. It was just, hey, and even the coach that I first started, he was like, I met with him a couple of times, and he was like, well, if you're going to be serious about this, you need to. Do you have a laptop? I was like, no. He was like, I got a desktop. He was like, no, you need a laptop. You need to look at, he was like, you can get a USB, a USB mic. Nothing expensive. He gave me a list of things to get, and I looked at it. I was like, yeah, I have the money for it. I'll go ahead. I'll get it. Never again thinking that I'm going to, have the, never. Just wow, like it feels good to get off work and read these scripts and practice. It just felt good to just have a life outside of social work. And then I eventually, in 2019, I quit my job locally here. And later on that year, I got a same job, same CP, still in CPS, because that's just where my heart has always
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
But I went to Northern Virginia, got same job, and it felt good. It was refreshing. But again, I was still coaching. I had changed coaches. During the pandemic, I was still coaching. I was coaching with my local coach, but then eventually switched over to another more well-known coach, just because I felt like I had outgrown the local coach that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was during the pandemic. Uh, yeah, during the pandemic, I was, I wanted more. I wanted more. There were things that I wanted to get out and do that I couldn't do because I was stuck doing notes again. And, it was like, here we are, just, I'm stuck in this cycle again. And sometimes I'd have to cancel my session because I had a removal, or I had to, go to court, just something. I was
Yeah.
just like, Lord, I do not want this to be my life. Like, I love social work. I love what I do, but it's consuming me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the verge of yet another, because again, I was on the verge of another mental breakdown, and I actually ended up going out on disability.
Mm-hmm.
While I was out on disability, the stress, the tension, just my creative juices were flowing. I was getting ideas, and I was like, oh my god, I remember as a kid, I used to think about that, and I haven't thought about that in years. Oh my god, it was like, just all of this. I was like, oh my gosh, time was coming up for me for the what is it, FMLA, to be over with, and go back to work. And I was just like, the tension and the stress and the tears and the it's like God was like, I'm giving you a way out. Don't go back. And I burst into tears, and I was like, if I go back, I'm gonna end up in the hospital. Like, there is no way that I can do this every single day and make it. Like, I cannot fake it any longer, and I was like, I I I never went back. I called them. I was like, I can't do it. I can't go back. And they were like, we didn't think he was coming back. And I was like, I didn't even know if I was coming back or not. But it was like, okay, bye y'all. And then I was like, okay, I guess I can. Matter of fact, again, my heart being in helping others, I was like, well, what I was doing in CPS, I can do that as a life coach. I can, help families, and I can take all the time that I need. No one has to tell me, "You spending too much time with the client. Oh, you're taking too long." I can do all of that in my own time and still help families. So that was still my goal. Voiceover was not in my thought at all. It was like, no, not voiceover. Mm-mm. I was like, well, I can do the coaching thing, and and as I do that, I can build on doing voiceover. Got back, bought a house, got moved back down here, bought a house, and tried to start looking. I was like, wait a minute, it was easy to get clients when I was in the field, but now that I'm no longer in the field, like, how am I going to get clients? Like, how am I going to do this? And I was like, oh, I was like, well, I got all this equipment, I got this booth. Mm,
Hmm.
well, I might as well, I can at least do that. And again, I'm still thinking I can at least do this until I build my voice in my life coach career.
Right. Mm.
Yeah.
So how's that going for you? You building up your life?
Oh, I love
I
that.
mean, I just read that the piece you just did, that particular "We No Longer Have to Choose" got a gold Telly award. So how's your life coaching business going? How's that huh?
Look, that that
Huh.
that is God is in control. That is
He
being
is.
obedient, and again, just listening to the voice of God. Like, and it's like no lie. I felt like I wasn't it was no longer me. It was like literally like I was on a chessboard and I was just moving wherever.
Mm.
I wasn't thinking, like literally I can honestly say I was not thinking, because nowhere in that was I ever thinking I'm going to be a successful voiceover artist. I'm going to, you know what? Even talking about the telly, I remember 2 years ago, it was either 2022 or 2023. I was talking to someone and I was asking them if they were going to, I think, another voiceover conference.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh no, I'm going to the Telly Awards." And I was like, "Telly? What is? I've never heard of that." And they were like, "Oh, they told me what it was." And I was like, "Oh." And me being me, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, "Oh my God, that's going to be a while before I." You know, and here it is, 2 years. About a year later, I yeah, like that is. You know what? I have been telling people, and that's why I love the name of your podcast. I am. Whew, hold on. Mm. I am living proof of seen, heard, imagined, because this is not anything that I saw for myself, that I ever heard, that I've even imagined. Like, it's just not. And like I said, when I learned, when you told me the name of your podcast, and I was like, seen, heard, imagined, I was like, yeah, I'm living proof of that. Like, I am living proof of eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and neither, because I was not expecting this at all. but but it just shows how real God is, and it shows that no matter what your life trajectory is, the plan that God has for your life. Another one of my favorite scriptures, Jeremiah 29:11. Like, the plan that he has for, and again, me thinking again, like you said, how's that working for you? How's that? And again, it's not to say that I may still build a life coaching business, but it's, it feels good to literally, and I mean literally, let go and let God. Because when you let go and let God, this is what happens. Like, the life that He wants for you, that He's always had for you, just falls into place.
Yeah.
Stop making me cry, Michelle.
You stop making, yeah, you stop making me cry. Yeah. Yeah. I, uh, yeah, just thank you for that gift. That is the point
Yeah.
of the podcast. And you mentioned that you didn't necessarily make a decision, and that's really powerful because for you, the seed was planted. You started looking into it. You ran
Hmm.
out. You got a demo a week later, but you were still straddling the 9 to 5, still
Hmm.
doing something that you felt was a calling. I'm sure there was a time where you felt very drawn to being a social worker,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and you still are. Like you are. When we talk, I know I'm talking to a social worker. I know I'm talking to a life coach. But
Yes.
that's still very much ingrained in you. But this detour, and maybe it's not necessarily just, maybe it's more than a detour. Maybe it's a detour with a destination. We don't know. You might just build up that business later on. You're absolutely right. But for now, based on the journey up to this point, this detour was to keep you from a collapse. It was to keep tent poles up, to hold you up.
Yeah.
The healing, what I'm hearing is that the healing for you, like it is for me,
Hmm.
is anytime you step into that booth and that script calls for you to emote an emotion,
Yeah.
probably one you haven't tapped into for years,
Mm-hmm.
to express something that you've been stuffing deep down inside. That's your
Yeah.
opportunity
Hmm.
to be happy and to smile. Maybe you hadn't done it all day.
Yeah.
I think that's the beautiful thing about the kind of work that we do,
Yeah.
is that it presents those opportunities to express, get off your chest those things either you haven't been able to do
Hmm.
or you've just been needing to do. You've
Oh,
just
yeah.
been needing to do it. And Father God saw it fit that that be your tool to keep from just going down a road that was already familiar to you. I'm sure, I imagine the nights that you
Oh,
knew that you were falling into it. I imagine the nights you knew I'm backsliding again. And when you have a mental emotional health issue, it's this uncontrollable thing. Unless there's like a strong intervention, like medication involved plus talk therapy, if it's not timely, it just spirals very quickly.
hmm.
And so at that point, I'm imagining that you were just begging him, please, not again, not this. This feeling is so familiar.
Hmm.
And this other job, I can't perform it to its full ability. I'm not well enough to perform it. But you were able to do that in that time, despite where you were mentally and emotionally, to voice act, to do voiceover. He knew
Because,
that's what you needed.
yeah, and yeah, because I could literally be, and again, although again I struggled for about a year and a half into voiceover, I still struggled with how to really be me.
Sure.
But you know, but yes, I could be free. I could definitely be free behind the mic. But my best friend told me something when I was just telling her, the goodness of God and just how grateful I am, um, and will continue to be. Speaking my John P. Key reference again. I have many favorites of his. Just about every song, but I have many favorite gospel songs. But one of his is "Never Shall Forget." And when people talk about how humble I am, I'm like, because I will never forget where I came from. I will never. Um, I will always be grateful for where I came from and all the struggles that I've had. To be able to have a testimony to say, I was here. Started from the bottom. Now we're
Now
here.
here. I had the same thought. I had the same thought. I'm like, keep it together, Michelle. You're hosting. You're hosting. Don't break out in song.
But yeah,
Thank you,
but,
Drake.
But my best friend told me, she said, the enemy knew that God was going to use your voice.
Mm,
That's
there
why
it is.
the enemy tried to destroy it with alcohol, with cigarettes, with depression, with doubt, with fear, all of those things that kept me in that downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And not using my voice,
Mm-hmm.
so it took literally a man of God to speak into my life in a way that he just was maybe, and for him it was just giving me a compliment, you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
sparked something in me that day. um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thank God that I allowed God to move. Now, mind you, I had just stopped smoking. I stopped smoking and stopped drinking January 19th, 2019. I started coaching in voiceover in March of 2019. Tell me God don't have a plan for, like,
Wow.
after smoking for
Really?
30 plus years. No lie. I went to John P. Key
What?
concert smelling like cigarettes,
Yeah.
and probably perfume because,
Right. That's
but
what you
yeah,
do to
I
cover it
mean,
up because it
I
works.
December 2018, I was still smoking. January 9th, and the reason that I know the exact date is because um, my mom was still working at the time, and she texted me and my brother. She was like, "I just got off work and I was listening to the song. This is such a beautiful song." The song was "Deliver Me" from Donald Lawrence and Leandria Johnson. Do you know what I was doing at the time? I was curled up in my bed, begging, begging God to take the desire of cigarettes and alcohol. Now, again, this is a prayer that I've prayed many times, but this time it was different. It was just like, if I don't stop, I know it's going to kill me. Like, I was smoking and drinking just that much. I was like, I need something. So I saw my mom's text. I'm curling up in bed, and now mind you, because I had just finished smoking and drinking the last of the last. I didn't have anything else in
Mm-hmm.
the house. I was like, and again, I had been struggling and struggling. I was like, no, 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 I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I listened to the
Mm.
song. Are you familiar with the song?
No, I haven't heard that one. At least I
Deliver
don't
Me.
think I have. I don't think I have.
I have to share
Hmm.
it.
You got two to send me.
Yes, there's a part in the song where it's something to the effect of, "You're no longer bound by who you were. You are officially released. This is your exodus." And I just burst into tears, and I was like that song in that moment was for me. Like, I needed it in that, and I texted my mom, and I was like, "You don't know how bad I needed to hear this. Like, I needed to hear this in that moment." It's like that was again message from God, just literally saying, like, it's over. You will no longer go back and forth, stopping and then starting, stopping and then starting, stopping and starting. And again, being obedient, just speaking to being obedient. December, you're talking about a person that struggled with alcohol and cigarettes for over 30 years. 30, yeah, 30, almost 40 years. Stopping and starting, stopping and starting, stopping and starting. And that day, that song, like, it is like, "Lord, deliver me, 'cause all I seem to do is hurt me, hurt me." That's how the song starts. And I was like, my God, like, I'm killing myself. I am literally killing myself. And she sang the line again. And then, like I said, Donald Lawrence, he came in and was like, "This is your exodus. You are officially released." And I was like, I cannot go back. And like I said, that was January 19th. And by March, I was, that's when I started coaching in voiceover, and I never touched another.
Marian, a direct line of communication. I love it when that happens. He knew what
I
you
never
needed.
touched another cigarette, never touched another alcohol ever, ever. And that was 6 years ago. Can't nobody tell me God ain't real. Like, you can't. Like,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
He sent two people to send you a message,
Yes.
and
Yep.
he allowed it to be so that you'd be away from work.
Yeah.
And when you stopped and thought about it, if you went back to that job, it would have pushed all the right buttons for you to be hospitalized.
Oh yeah. And probably like to the point of no return to because it was just something I had just been
Right.
battling and battling. So yeah, it yeah. I mean, everything just, and again, I was talking to someone, and I told them, I was like, oh yeah, I used to stop smoking. They were like, you stopped smoking and you didn't pick it back up during the pandemic, and I was like, dang, nobody but God. I mean,
Absolutely.
because it's like,
It wasn't in your own strength, that's for sure.
that
No
part
way.
exactly.
No way.
I'd done it
You
before.
had it your way. Yeah.
I had stopped smoking before. I had stopped drinking before, but picked it right back up. As soon as something stressful happened, or just because.
Right.
So yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
God is good. Like he is.
All the
Yeah,
time. Wow.
yeah.
Wow, Marian. I we've known one another, what, it's been what, 2.5 years, 2 years,
Hmm.
maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
And I hadn't heard this before. I just had not, I didn't know really.
Yeah.
I knew why you stopped working in social
Hmm.
work and that you made a decision to make this your full time, but I didn't
Yes.
know all the reasons why.
Yep.
So thank you for sharing that with me.
Oh yeah. Thank you
That's
for allowing me to
huge.
believe. But again, having that testimony, keeps me humble, and just the same way I used to tell my clients, it's easy to look at someone,
Mm.
in their success,
Yep.
and feel like they've always been there. Like, mm-mm. I don't
Mm-mm.
have a problem, like literally saying like where I came from, and I think it's important for people to know that, and especially when we're talking about, like, I cannot talk about um, my story. I cannot talk about you know how I got from there to here without talking about God. Like, I can't. Like, there's just no way.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is because of the goodness of God that I have, that has allowed me to be here. And matter of fact, I was telling someone who quits their job and then buys a house.
Right.
Who, like, seriously, like,
Someone highly favored, apparently, and full of grace, is filled
mm,
with God's grace. That's who. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And that's what I mean. But like, I was from that, from around that time. I was not thinking and making decision. It was like
Yeah,
God was
you
just
were
moving
just
in front of me.
doing.
Yeah, I was just doing.
Yeah, because you just weren't well at the time. And so you're just doing. So, hence not making a decision about anything. It's just that you, at some point, kind of threw up your hands and
That's
rode the
surrender.
ride.
Yes.
Surrendered. Yeah.
Hmm.
Waved a little white flag. I don't know what I'm doing over here, but can you
Yeah.
please help a sister out? Help me
Exactly.
out. And I'm
Exactly.
just going to ride the ride,
Yeah.
do the best I can as I go.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Take full
I
control.
love learning this about you. This is deep. This is deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Marion. Oof. This is definitely a story of nothing but God, because I just can't I can't imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Like who did it? Like God did it. Like this was not, that was not me. Yeah. I mean, again, my career has, I just thought that social work was all I was going to be, and that, you know, um, have you ever met, some people in voiceover that maybe say that they, or did you ever take an improv class? And in the improv class that I took, some people were like, "Oh, I have a problem with public speaking, so that's why I got into it." Well, I'm really shy, and I just, so I wanted to find my voice. So, people have all their reasons, and I was just like, wow. It's some of the reasons that people said that they did it. I was like, wow, I would have never thought to do that. But again, for me, that's what voiceover was to me initially. It was just, just something to do outside of, like, what do you do? Anything, when I talk to people, everything was about social work, social work, social work. So, it was nice to say, I'll do voiceover, I'm taking an improv class, I'm taking an acting class, just have some type of conversation outside of that. But it was never, for me, the vision was never to,
Make a career out of it.
make a career out of it at all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not scratchy voice and smoker of,
Not that deep,
but
scratchy voice.
right, not that deep
Though they
scratchy
have a
voice.
place. Though they have a place in our
Yes,
world.
very much so, very much so. Yeah,
Anybody watching, everybody's voice has a place and has
yeah.
a role out there for them, for sure.
The
Yeah.
comparison that I tell people a lot, they're like, "Oh, I don't really know about. I don't really have a good voice." And I'm like, the thing that I think about is the guy from Dry Eye, Clear Eye,
Oh,
or
yeah.
the
Yeah.
same guy that did the Bueller,
Yep.
Bueller.
Yeah.
He just had this really squeaky
Monotone,
Bueller,
dry. Yep.
very dry.
Yeah.
But again, it's a place for it, and it
There
works.
is. Yep.
So yeah, it takes all kinds, it definitely does. But
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
I just thank God, and anybody that has ever been stuck with um surrender, that surrender piece, I think a lot of times people struggle with surrender, it's just they have to, and for me, yes, I believe that it was me being at, I guess at a rock bottom mentally, that just allowed me to just be like, Lord, I like give up the ghost. Like I can't, I can't anymore. Like you have to take full control, like, or I know that I'm going to lose it. Um, Matter of fact, I don't even think I ever told you this, but I during that time when I was still working, my supervisor asked me one day. She called me. She said, "Did you look at the notes that you sent?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And she was like, "Yeah, I don't think you did." I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what's going on?" She was like, "Marion, check your email. I just sent you what you sent me." It was complete gibberish. It was as if, how you fall asleep on the keyboard and you see letters and numbers. And that's what I had sent her. No lie. And I literally burst into tears. And that was the first time I ever told, like someone that like a supervisor, or, I was like, and I finally told her that I have anxiety. Although I have PTSD, I do have anxiety, but and anxiety, PTSD is a anxiety disorder. But I didn't want to tell her I had PTSD, because like PTSD, people like, but yeah, I was like, I have anxiety, and I'm just unraveling. And I was like, I didn't realize that that's what I sent you, because I read the notes, and exactly what I want, what happened on the case, when on this home visit, that's what I put in there. But I said, "Are you sure that's what I sent you?" And I was like, and I looked back in, and I was like, Jesus, that is exactly what it. But that that is why. Have you ever seen the movie Straw?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is the part that got me. because I was like, I
Related to
recognize
that big
why.
time. Yeah.
I recognize why she did not understand why this woman, like, why you keep screaming as she's holding this thing in her hand, like, why you keep screaming? I just want my $51, and she just wanted her paycheck, but literally
Right.
she had spiraled out of like
Yeah.
she was just literally on autopilot,
Right.
and
Right.
I thought that was such. I think that movie, not just that scene, but the movie captured a downward spiral mentally. Like it
Yeah.
literally captured that perfectly. And like I said, shortly after that is when she told me that I was turning in gibberish, and she was like, well, she said, well, it's good. She thanked me for telling her that I had anxiety, and because she
Yeah.
was like, at
Yeah.
least it kind of gives a reason why.
Right. At least. Yeah.
She said, because the comparison to the work that you were doing, when you were first hired, and last year or whatever. She was like, she said, so at least it makes sense as to why. And like I said, shortly after that, I was just like, yeah, I need to take some time off. And like I said, God was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you ain't going back. And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't say you ain't going back. He just said, I gave you, I'm giving you a way out. I'm giving you a
Right.
way out, and this is it. So if you choose, again, does not force us to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was literally like when I was trying to make the decision and battling and crying, and I'm like, but I need my job.
Mm-hmm.
This is Northern Virginia money. Like, this is good money.
Mm-hmm.
I can't walk away from this. And God was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm giving you a way out.
Yeah. And it's interesting when he talks to us, I believe we hear the message very clearly. I'm giving you a way
Woo!
out. I'm giving you a way out, but he doesn't give details.
Yes,
Are
yes.
you giving me a way out so that I can recuperate and come back strong?
Oh,
Am I going to be offered another job that's going to be better than this one? Am I going to become a voice actor? I'm sure that didn't come to mind, but he's so fascinating in that manner when he says it's almost this very certain communication. He gives you
yeah.
certainty about something,
That is so good. Yes.
but you don't know how you're supposed to get to the thing or what it even looks like what he's talking about. What does
That's
a
the
way
leap of
out look
faith.
like?
Yes,
Yeah, that's a leap of
that's
faith
that
that's
leap of faith.
involved.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is what that is. That's
Gosh.
that leap of faith. Will you trust me when you
Woo.
don't know?
Right.
You don't know which way is up? You don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Wow.
And I think doing that, and then I'm not going to say what it was, but a couple of months later, yeah, a couple of months later, God showed me, you know, and I was just like, wow, like, just mind blown. I was just like, yeah. I'll tell you
So
offline, but yeah,
you're like,
but
this
yeah,
is what you meant. You had that moment like, oh, this is what you meant. That's the
this is
moment you had
why
the,
I had to let go.
yeah.
Yes, all of
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
This is why the things happened the way they did.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are mind blowing moments. Absolutely. Gosh. Marion, thank you. I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed
So did
talking
I.
about the gift of our voices.
Yeah.
And like you, mine was stifled at a young age. And so it's like you're grown up having this desire to want to utilize it somehow. And you're
Yeah.
stumbling through figuring out what that looks like. And, then God pops up during times to help us
Hmm.
find our way if we really are seeking that.
Oh
He
yeah.
has a way to help us
Oh yeah.
figure all that out. So Marion,
Hmm.
how can people learn more about you or connect with you?
On Facebook, it's Marian Mills Voice Artistry, and it's the one with the banner, the Telly Award banner. Because I have two, but both of them are named the same thing. Long story with Facebook, I don't know why, but anyway. But LinkedIn is Marian Mills. Instagram is Marian Mills 804, and TikTok, for however long that's there, is Marian Mills 1.
Okay. Well, great. Well, good.
This has been
Well,
so fun.
God, I've been on a roller coaster. You had me tearing up. I was sitting here like, should I grab the tissue? Do I not grab the tissue? Can I keep it together? Please stop crying, Marion. You t- you thoroughly touched my heart. Just thank you for your vulnerability, and I just
Thank
imagine that this
you.
episode will touch hearts
Thank
and
you for the space.
communicate. Yeah. Just it's gonna communicate and reach the person that it needs to reach who's been through
Yeah.
similar. I'm very certain of that.
Yeah.
So the previous guest prayed for you. Okay.
What?
Yeah, the previous guest prayed for you. So they pray for God's peace and comfort in the areas of your life where you're struggling. They wish that they can ask you specifically what you need prayer in because they would join you to create that fervent prayer. And in fact, they invite you to reach out to them, but you got to stay tuned and watch episode 10 when it comes out.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wait a
I'm being
minute now.
serious. Yeah. It'll be episode 10. That'll be your opportunity to meet your mystery prayer partner. Okay?
Wow. Well, yeah, again, gospel song, somebody prayed for me, because you just never know who is literally interceding, on your behalf, like literally. So thank you. Like, I appreciate that. And it's a blessing to be a blessing, and for someone to want to pour into me and my career like that. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. Well, if you had a
When is
prayer
episode 10
or
gonna be?
I'm
Look,
sorry.
when is episode 10 gonna be?
Give me some time. Give me some time. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Do
Okay.
you have a prayer or a well wish for my next guest?
Um, do I have a prayer or for your next guy? I would say, let go and let God. Like, let Him have His way in your life. Because I can honestly say, for me, letting go and not trying to figure out what the next steps were and just allowing them to fall into place have allowed me to, live in the overflow. It's something that I've, sang about, thought about, read about all these different things, but like literally just having, God literally opening up a window of heaven and pouring you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive it. You literally have to surrender, like, totally and completely, so that is my prayer, that you allow God to be that and move that way in your life.
Yeah. Excellent. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Thank
Marion.
you. This has been so fun and therapeutic and
Yeah.
glorifying God.
I'll,
Nice.
I'm
Yes,
I'm
yes.
I'm
All
gonna
the
send
things.
you a bill. I'm gonna send you an invoice for this
Right?
therapy session. It's been what, about an hour and 22 minutes. I charge by the minute. So,
That was, oh, yeah.
oh, thank you, Marion. We'll talk
Well,
again
thank you.
soon.
I appreciate it. Bye bye.
Does your soul feel ignited by what you heard today? Then show your support by clicking the subscribe button on the YouTube channel or follow our page. You'll receive alerts when new content is available and stay informed of any special contests or giveaways held by this podcast sponsor. Thanks for watching and listening.